I'm Tracy Holmes, coming to you once again from Hotel Quarantine. The Paralympic Games are only days away. COVID numbers continue to rise inside Japan, and we'll cross to Tokyo shortly to find out how the local population are feeling about these games just ahead. We'll also look at the tough restrictions that have been put in place to protect the Paralympians. But first, there are fears for the Paralympic team from Afghanistan, which has been withdrawn after the takeover by the Taliban in that country. Afghanistan's Paralympic team has pulled out of the Games amid the turmoil. Zakia Kudadadi and Hussein Rasuli were due to represent their country in Taekwondo and athletics, with Kudadadi set to make history as Afghanistan's first female Paralympian. But the pair haven't been able to make it out of Kabul. Kudadadi sent this message about her situation.
With all the struggles I've been through, I'm currently imprisoned inside the house. I cannot even go outside around this house with confidence and with security, to go out to buy just a few things for myself, to train, to check on how anyone else is. My intention is to participate in the Tokyo 2020 Paralympic Games. Please hold my hand and help me, please, I urge you all, from the women around the globe, institutions for the protection of women, from all government organisations, to not let the rights of a female citizen of Afghanistan in the Paralympic movement to be taken away so easily.
Afghanistan's chef de mission is Arian Siddiqui. He's based in London and has been trying desperately to get in touch with his two athletes.
This was a dream for them. It was a dream for me actually as well as the chief commission. For the athletes, they had this inspiration, this commitment. They trained with a very basic facilities, very basic resources in their local clubs and the back gardens to prepare for this big event. But unfortunately, everything is now shattered. They cannot compete, they cannot take part because of what happened in the country. It's just horrific. It's just devastating for the team, for the athletes, and for myself. I think words can't explain what's actually going through their minds.
Have you spoken to them in the last few days?
Yeah, I tried a number of times to connect with them, to speak with them. I couldn't get through. But this morning, thankfully, I managed to call Zakia, but the internet connection was very weak. But we managed to leave each other voice messages. But she was in tears. She couldn't explain. She said, "Look, I've left my parents because she's originally from Herat province. She's traveled to Kabul. So the Taliban took over Herat first. She was saying, I hope that before, Taliban reaches Kabul, we're going to fly out to Tokyo. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. She was explaining she's with the extended relatives, family of 10 who are already struggling to put food on the table, given the Taliban situation now, and she's there as well. She said, please advise me what to do. I would just, I said, what can I say? What can I do at the moment? It's very limited of what I can suggest or what I can do. She said, I'm not losing hope yet. I still have hope that somebody out there will help. But she said she's very scared to go outside in case the Taliban recognize her, that she's the para-athlete. And she was very scared, basically, yeah, to say the least.
What do you think about the safety of the athletes, and will it be different for the male and the female?
Definitely. I mean, previously, we know that from the Taliban, even for male, it was difficult. Certain sport was allowed, certain sport wasn't allowed. So there's a confusion overall. For female and for para-athletes, it was unheard of, there was no activities in the para sports. But now, given the situation, I don't think it'd be any different. It could be a trick from Taliban, to deceive people, say, oh, we're going to, allow you to do whatever you're doing at the moment, just to get so they are stable in the country, so they're getting more acceptance from the people. But once they become in power, we don't know what they're going to do.
What role do you think sport was playing in trying to open up and integrate and grow Afghanistan, and how successful was that for the time that it was happening?
I mean, sports is a platform that unites people, brings people together, and creates a platform of inclusivity. So even with the Paralympics, Zakiyas from a different ethnic background, from Hazara ethnic background, Hussein Rasool is from Tajik ethnic background, the team members that we had from Pashtun. So we're all united in our NPC. So it creates a sense of unity, sense of belonging for the people, especially when you're competing at international events such as Olympics. There, people will for cheer for Afghanistan. They're not gonna say, okay, from which ethnic group I am or which I belong. They're gonna shout Afghanistan, and this in itself is a great achievement. But unfortunately, that's no longer possible for Afghanistan, and we don't know for how long. So it's a very devastating situation. The situation is very critical at the moment. We get mixed messages from back home, especially for sports. I don't think it's going to look good. People are just scared already. So yeah.
And even though people have been, making comments that maybe this is a different Taliban, maybe things will be different from now on, there doesn't seem to be a lot of stock put into those sorts of comments, because you haven't been able to trust them in the past, and we know what happened in the past.
I mean, they're obviously, people say they're different Taliban because obviously they're not the same people in a sense, but the ideology, the mentality, the indoctrination